Hello, everybody. It's time for me to talk about my top 10 worst movies of 2020. This is just my opinion. If you enjoyed some of these movies, that's all good. I would do a few mentions, but then we go on for way too long. Wonder Woman 1984. But top 10 of 20, top 10 worst. I'm making this the worst video. Top 10 worst movies of 2020. In at number 10, we have Scoob, the Scooby-Doo movie, the newest movie in the franchise. I have always enjoyed the animated movies that they have released. They've done a lot of straight-to-DVD ones. Return to Zombie Island last year was trash because I love the original Zombie Island film. But this Scooby-Doo film, Scoob, first showed the origins of Scoob, how he got his name, and this starts out as the misdrink as just like kids trick-or-treating, going out, catching people in houses, and it starts as doing a montage of them going to all these haunted houses and going to all these places and capturing people, and it was fun, that montage. And then all of a sudden they say, hey, what if we make this a superhero movie instead? Because superhero movies are so popular, let's make it a superhero movie. Let's try and ram in as many Hanna-Barbera references as we can. Let's try and also ram in as many Hanna-Barbera characters as we can that pay no purpose to this film. I'll just put in here, just be like, oh, this is one of our properties, look at this. And let's not get back any of the voice actors that have been doing the voices of these characters for so many years and not tell them we're not getting them back. Just let them find out from Twitter, and also just have more famous people for the voices, like Zac Efron. Let's have him. It didn't work for me, and I really hated this. It was just so poorly done. The animation looked okay at points, but it's just not a good film, and this has really let me down because I love Scooby-Doo. In at number 9 is The Grudge. Yeah, remember we got that this year? The Grudge calls itself The Grudge, but is actually set during the remake as well, and between the original film somehow. It's a weird timeline, but that's how it works. This is really badly done. You can tell that the studio interfered a lot because there are a few deleted scenes that have been released and make it look like a much, much better film. But this is just full of really random jump scares, hilariously bad acting. You never see any like ghosts or anything really. You never see the woman from The Grudge. You never see her. All you see is some fingers on a bathtub at one point. You never see the kid either. It's just you never see any of those characters from the original Grudge, and it doesn't really work as a Grudge film. You see the house from the original Grudge at the start of the film, but the rest of it is just pure trash. All of it. I hated so much of it. It's the way that it tries to sort of be a detective film as well and going through different timelines. It just never really works, and it's just so badly done. And then we get a really sort of abrupt ending that wants to be shocking, but then I'm just like, why was the rest of the film not like this? So that's The Grudge, one of the worst horrors of this year. But hey, it's only number 9. We've got some worse films. In at number 8 is Bloodshot with Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel as this superhero villain going after people that have ruined his life and killed his wife, and it almost plays out like the better film Upgrade. But it's got really bad CGI. All the fight scenes are all over the place. You can tell it was done by a guy that's only directed computer games before. And for this to come from a property that is actually violent and then make it a 12 and not be violent in the slightest and just have really horrible shaky cam and, yes, scenes that look like cutscenes from computer games, it was just really bad, and they shouldn't have bothered with this, and I really hated it. But in at number 7 is Fantasy Island, done by Jeff Wadlow, who he's been like Blumhouse, just eat him up. They love all his shit films. They love that he adds homophobia in every single one of his films and really bad jokes that just don't work. Like, he's a guy that's trying too hard to be edgy, but it never works. And Fantasy Island is an island that you go to. You know, you can have all your wildest fantasies lived out, and these people are like, I just want to have a party, massive party. That's like one of the fantasies. All the fantasies that they write are just done so badly. This is based on the TV show, and it just isn't exciting. All the twists are really, really bad, and the ending tries to put in a reference or a bit of homage to the original series, and it has you rolling your eyes. This whole film has you rolling your eyes. It even has the scene where this guy's like, "Hey, I want to live out sort of being back in the army. That's my fantasy I want." And he says the line, "Call of Duty time." Hey, put that in there. It's like written by some dads that know that the kids play Call of Duty and went, "Call of Duty time." Put that in the movie. It's just not a good film. Fantasy Island. I don't know why Blumhouse keep bothering with Jeff Wadlow, but they do. And he's been doing a Magic 8 Ball film, so keep letting him do this. Then we have number 6 is, I'm probably going to say it completely wrong, but it's Train to Busan presents Peninsula. Peninsula. I think I've said that wrong, but this is the sequel to Train to Busan, and I was very excited for it. But it is abysmal. It is just a horrible, horrible film to look at. You can tell it's all on a set because there's like bits where there's grass and there's meant to be a sound of wind, but nothing is blowing. And there are scenes in this as well that also look like they're from a computer game. There's like a car driving along and it just is all messy and horrible looking. They wanted to do more of an action film, and Train to Busan was a film that really worked for me, that I really enjoyed, and when it had its action and people being chased by zombies, it worked perfectly. With Train to Busan presents Peninsula, it doesn't, I've said it wrong once again, but it doesn't work in any way possible. It's not fun, it drags, everything is just laughable. It's not a good film, and it's not a good sequel, and it really shocks me that this is a sequel that we got to such a good zombie film. It's really, really depressing that we got this. But in at number 5 is The Craft Legacy, which says it's a sequel but remakes scenes from the original film. And it's one that, this is done by Blumhouse again. Blumhouse just releasing absolute dog shit this year, except for The Invisible Man, which will be my best list. But this wants to have a feminist message like how the Black Christmas remake did. Remake, if we can even call it that. But it doesn't really know how to do it. And the whole thing is just like them just going, men are evil. And that's it. That's the whole swig, swam, wham wham. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. That's the whole thing of the film. I went to say a word, but the word didn't come out. But that's what this film does. And it's not done well. The witches, for me, in the original Craft, because I really, really do enjoy the original Craft, they're goths. They're goths. They wear all black. In this, it's like, oh, we're colourful, and we wear colourful clothes, and we keep saying things like "Yas, Queen" and "bitches," and it's just the cool. It's like, hey, I can understand they just want to have a bit of fun with these women in this, but it just didn't work for me, and it wasn't fun in the slightest. And talking about witches, number 4 is The Witches. Now, I absolutely love the original Witches. The practical effects in that are perfect. It's such a fun film. The little Jim Henson's little mice, practical effect mice, puppets, just really make that film. And then for this to be like straight on CGI, almost being horrible about people that have different like how they have her pretty much. I don't know how to even do it, but they have the Anne Hathaway's witch. They only have 3 fingers, and it sort of is quite horrible to people that have disabilities where they don't have their bodies. Oh, I like that. I'm not even trying to say it properly, but The Witch it's not even that is the worst thing about it. It's just a really badly done remake. There's nothing fun to it. The Witches also have this weird thing where they've got sharp teeth now, their mouths stretch, and they also look like the Joker when they're walking around because every single witch has scars on the side of their mouth. It's really, really horribly done. It just doesn't know what it's doing. It's longer than the original. It's not fun. There's no fun characters in this. Chris Rock is the voice of it, of the kid. And what I loved about the original is that it's the grandma telling the story of witches. And in this, it's like, nope, it's nothing like that anymore. It's just not a good remake, and they shouldn't have bothered with this. And it's weird when it's got such a good cast and a good director that we got something as bad as this. But in number 3, we have Songbird. That's right, the year of where we have a pandemic going on. Let's release a film about the pandemic, but the virus is now called COVID-23. Instead, now people have to take pictures of themselves in the morning on their phones, scan their face, and if they have the virus, people come around and take them away and take them to a camp or kill them. Also, the virus affects you now by having a really bad fever and also messing up a part of your brain. This is a film that isn't good in the slightest. It's produced by Michael Bay, and it's just horrible. Like, I watch cinema to escape from reality, and this is a film that doesn't allow you to escape from reality. It's just so depressing to watch why all these people are still getting COVID, but it's more over exaggerated and just absolutely horrible with what it does in the film. It's also got that horrible sort of, like, The Purge has this grimy look to it. The Purge franchise has always had that, but this, it's done by Blumhouse or anyone. It's done by Platinum Dunes, and it just has a horrible grimy look to it. It has a feel of The Purge because there's certain points where people have like cameras attached to them or whatever, and it just isn't good. It's not good. It's just dull and drags, and trying to have this sort of future and being like, hey, this is one of the first films that was made during the pandemic, about the pandemic. It's like, that's not, like, people have praised it, being like, oh, it's amazing that they were able to make this film. It's like, but you could have made a better film and not made it about something that is going on right now, which is so tone deaf to make this. And that's Songbird. In at number 2, you know when Adam Sandler said, if I don't win the Oscar for Uncut Gems, I will make my worst film ever. He wasn't lying. Because we got Jubilee Halloween. Jubilee Halloween released to Netflix around Halloween time, because it's a Halloween film. Of course it's going to be released around Halloween time. But Jubilee Halloween isn't fun. It's Adam Sandler. I'm going to say this, and people go, oh, why are you looking at it like that? It's pretty much him playing a disabled character. Like, he's definitely autistic or something. It's just the way he acts, and it doesn't feel right. The way he speaks, the way he acts around people, it just doesn't feel right. And I want Adam Sandler to stop doing this type of shit. I want him to stop doing it, because this isn't funny. There's nothing funny about it. But, you know, people are like, but it's him just getting his best mates together and they're making a really fun movie. I don't know what this voice is right now. They're not making it's just a shit. It's alright if you find this funny, but for me, it's just abysmal. And Adam Sandler really needs to stop doing characters like this, because we have seen that he can be an incredible actor. And that's Jubilee Halloween at number 2. But in at number 1 is a film that just always comes back into my mind this year. Blackwater Abyss. Blackwater Abyss is a sequel, and Blackwater Abyss is also, after lockdown had finished in the UK and cinemas opened back up, this is the first film that was released in cinemas. The only film that was released in cinemas on April 4th. It was released in UK cinemas, and it's bad. It's Home and Away with crocodiles, because the way this looks at the start, when I was watching it on VOD, I didn't go see it in the cinema. I wasn't going to do that to myself. But when it starts, it just looks like a TV movie. And then I'm watching, I'm like, this wasn't a TV movie. This was released in cinemas. It's people being stuck in a cave with a crocodile after them. But what these people do is, what was that noise in the water? I know the crocodiles are already following us, but what was that? Let me just get in a bit closer to the water, and we all know what happens there. It's just stupid characters making stupid decisions. It's like, I liked the first Blackwater. First Blackwater isn't bad. It's quite a suspenseful film, but this is just horrible. Everyone making terrible decisions throughout. And I can't believe this is the first release we got after the lockdown, sort of when cinemas started to open back up. That is my top 10 worst movies of 2020. What are your top 10 or bottom 10 worst movies of 2010? I think I just get drained by how bad all these movies are that I just don't know what I'm even saying when I talk about them. What are your top 10 worst movies of 2020? Let me know in the comments. Let's talk about, did you enjoy these films? Did you enjoy any of these films? Did you hate these films as much as me? And I will see you all again very, very soon for the top 10 best movies of 2020. Thank you very much. Goodbye.